Welcome to the Ozzstar channel. Today I want to talk to you about this Ford van behind me. You could have an E150, E250, or E350 with a cylinder misfire. This one came in, had three misfire codes, P0301, the 0303, and the P0308. So that was cylinders 1, 3, and 8 were misfiring. I test drove it. It was definitely running like dookie. And what I want to do today is give you some help with changing spark plugs in this or coil. So you've got to remove the coil in order to get to the spark plug. Now I've replaced all 8 in here already. I'm going to show you, if you're going to do this for the first time, you might be a little confused because the coil is actually sitting underneath the fuel rail, and I'll show you how to get that out. I'm going to use cylinder 4 in this case, and what I'll try to do here in the video is put a diagram so you know what cylinder is which. Now it's very simple on these Fords. 1 through 4 is on the passenger side, and 5 through 8 is on the driver's side of the engine as you're looking out the window. So as you're sitting in the driver's seat. But anyway, let's go into the van. I'll show you what I do to get this out, what tools I use, and hopefully it'll help you get the job done. Got lots of light set up for you guys, so we should be able to see what's going on. It's a little bit tight to film, so what I'm going to do is film this back passenger number 4 for you. We're going to remove that coil, and I'll show you how to get the plug out and all that. Anyway, here's the tools I use. It's pretty simple. So you want a 3/8 ratchet. Now this is going to be for your spark plug here. So I use a 6-inch extension with the 5/8. This is a spark plug socket, so it's got an insulated rubber piece in there so the porcelain doesn't crack as easy. Then what's key to this job is, and you're going to use it quite often, is the 6-inch with a 1-inch extension. So I'm hoping you can see that here. And that'll go in there with your 3/8 ratchet. Now, there are certain cylinders, I know, like over here, on this side here, a little shorty ratchet is going to work best. So that's like, what is that, a 7-inch, and this is probably 3-4 inches long. So that'll help you get in those tight spots, because there are hoses and evap stuff all over the place. Over there you've got the EGR tube on the passenger side, and this just helps give you some swinging room. And then to get the coil out, we're going to use this 1/4-inch drive with a 6-inch extension and a 7mm. Okay, so here's our number 4 coil, and I've got the 1/4-inch drive right here with 7mm, and I'm going to get right on that screw. What I usually do is, actually, before you loosen this, I'm just going to get it started. And they're not very tight at all. So when you go to put these back in, don't over tighten them. Now that one's loose. I can actually turn the ratchet by hand. So what I want to do is, what I should show you is, right here is your connector. So there's a little tab on the bottom, and it's best to do this before you start to loosen your screw. It'll be a little easier. Anyway, pull your connector off, and let me show you what I just did to do that. Right here on the bottom is a little tab. So just push that tab up with your thumb and then pull back. Sometimes it can be a little stiff, and then I'll just tuck that out of the way. Now what I like to do over here is your fuel injector connector. So if we were replacing right now, you know, these coils and plugs, I would take the fuel injector connectors off too. Same thing, there's a little tab, and pull off. And I'll do that on all of them. So just get them out of the way. Okay, so there we go. That's out of the way. And now I can reach back in here and just back this screw out. And they're probably about an inch, 1.25 inches long. And sometimes a little magnet, if you have a magnet, one of those little magnet tools, if you drop it, that can come in handy to retrieve it. So reach in here. It's a little tricky because I'm working behind the camera. Anyway, get my screw out. Now here's the deal. Let me give you a better angle of this. So what you're going to see is, and you're going to say, how the heck do I get that coil out? Because in our way is this fuel rail. So as you can see, here's the other coil. Here's number 3. You know, see how it's underneath the rail. So these have a rubber boot, and what you'll do is, what I do is twist this, okay? So you got your screw out,
and twist it a little bit, kind of free it up, try to free that boot. And as you're doing that, you pull back this way. Oop, hold on, let me get you a better angle. Oh boy, here we go. And pull back as you twist this to loosen it, and pull up and wiggle. And you'll hear that pop. That's what you want to hear. And then you'll just have to slip this out. Okay, so now down there, we got the coil out down there. Let me zoom in and I'll show you. Right here is for our spark. Oops, see, it's hard to film. There we go. Right there is our spark plug tube. So then we'll take our 5/8. I'll zoom back out now that you know where we're at. Okay, and we'll take this and we'll sneak this down in there. Okay, gently push that all the way down in, twist this until it's on there. And right now I can feel I'm on the spark plug. And then what I'll do is, as you can see, this is even with the fuel rail here. So there's no way, you know, a ratchet's not going to work too easy there. Take your 1-inch extension, put that on top. Now that gives you just enough where we can take a ratchet. And I'm going to take the shorty just to show you here. And then this would go on top here, okay, like that. Of course, I want to be in reverse. And now we can start, you know, twisting these out, okay? I don't need to take it out because I just replaced it, but I just wanted to show you, and I'm sorry about the camera all over the place, but it's a little tricky, like I said, to film. And then what you'll do is you'll have your plug in here. There you go. The plug will be in here, imagine that. Pull it out like this and out, and you're good to go. Get your new spark plug. I like to use the Motorcrafts on these Fords, and you're all set. So installation's opposite of the way you took it out. I just slipped this back in here, and I've tested these coils with my oscilloscope, but that's a different video for a different day. And what you do is just kind of line it up where that screw hole goes, give it a little push down. You'll know when it's seated. You can see it down below. Of course, it's probably going to be hard on film. Take your bolt, your 7mm bolt, get it set up in there, and if you can't hand start it, you'll just have to lay it in there and then get your socket. Of course, you won't be able to see here. Let me get out of your way. And just, I hand thread them down, and then I'll take my ratchet and just give it like a little quarter turn. I mean, these basically have almost no pressure. They're just there to pin them down, and you're all set on that. Here's now for in here, if you wanted to, you could use a shorter extension. You don't have to have a tall one. Okay, that's snug. That's it. Make sure you put your harness back there, hook that in, and you'll hear a click. Let's listen. It just clicked. I don't know if you heard it, but it definitely clicked. It's on and we're good to go. Now here's a little thing. When I do these vans here, I get cylinders 2, 3, and 4 spark plugs and coils from this back here where we are. Oop, I'm shaking the camera. Number 1 and number 5 and 6 on the driver's side I get from the front. I should show you that real quick. Let me do that. 7 and 8 I get right from back here. You know, I can reach in. You can get 7 and 8 back here, and like I said, up in there. Now the screw for number 2 is easier. The bolt that holds down the coil is much easier to get from the front. So way down on the passenger side is that number 1. By the way, this Harbor Freight light I'm using, I did a video on it. It's working great. And anyway, number 1's back there, but here's what you got to do here first to help you out. So what you want to do is remove the air intake box here. So this just pops right out. This is your air filter. You know, you release this clamp here. Then there's 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. I wish I'd got it on film earlier when I had everything apart. I just don't have the time right now to do it again. And then there's a clamp right back here on this tube. Just take that off. All this will be out of your way. You'll have easier access to 5 and 6 up here, and then 1, and then the bolt, the screw for coil number 2.
So I hope you enjoyed that video, gave you some help if you've never done this before, gave you some tips and tricks. You're gonna have to take your time. This isn't like you're gonna get these spark plugs out in a half hour and call it a day. It's gonna take you just a little bit of time because you've gotta work in there. You're like, sometimes you're working blind. You can't even see what you're doing. Basically, you gotta do it by feel. You'll pull the coil out and you'll have to slide your extension in with your 5/8 socket to get those spark plugs out. Anyway, thanks for stopping by the channel here. Please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button, comments and questions down below. Other than that, I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.